Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley. Welcome to another edition of Sparkle and Shine here at the My Favorite Things YouTube channel. I'm so glad you've stopped by because today we are making the most adorable treat boxes ever. And I've kind of created these with that vintage Polaroid kind of logo in mind. So I'm going to walk you through these. They're very easy to put together. I'm going to show you how to put them together. And I'm just creating them from some plain Neenah Solar White heavyweight cardstock. And I do need to cut my cardstock to 6 inches. So this measures 6 by 8.5 inches. And I'm taking my die and I am holding it in place with a little bit of purple tape onto this heavyweight cardstock and running that through my Gemini Junior or whatever die cut machine you have to cut this out. Now this bag die comes with several options for handles and openings at the top of your bag. I just left this little one in place and ran it through the die cut machine. So this die that you see along the top that cuts that kind of long rectangle opening, that was already attached to the die, and I just left this in place as I ran it through my die cut machine, but you can detach it with your die snips and cut that separately as well. So I now have 6 of these cut out, and I'm going to work on the stamping that I'm going to do on my bags. And I'm going to take one of these bags, I'm going to stick it into my MISTI, I'm going to hold it in place with my magnet. And you saw me there doing a little bit of stamp surgery on this Happy Birthday to You stamp. Now this has 3 stripes, and I only wanted to use one of those stripes because I'm going to do this where they kind of overlap a little bit and the colors kind of blend together. They didn't overlap and blend as much as I wanted them to, but in the end, I was happy with the result. So I took that single stripe, I lined it up onto my bag, and I used my T-square ruler to make sure that it was going straight up and down vertically onto this bag. And now I'm going to stamp this with a little bit of like a pinkish red ink. Now I'm doing 3 of these bags. So I'm going to place my next bag die cut into my MISTI, and I'm going to re-ink the stamp and stamp it again. Now some of these are not perfect stamped images, and I'm okay with that because like I said, I was going for that kind of vintage Polaroid kind of rainbow, 70s rainbow kind of look. So when I'm ready to move on to my next color, I discovered that around 3/16 of an inch was the spacing that I wanted. And instead of trying to float this out on my MISTI, I decided to create a little bumper for this. So I'm taking 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 3/16 of an inch, and I'm going to add tape runner adhesive to one of those, and I'm going to line them up and stack them on top of each other. Then I'm going to place this stacked up strip onto the right hand edge of my MISTI, and that's going to act as a bumper for me to place my next bag piece into the MISTI to stamp my next color, because I'm stamping these all kind of side by side and overlapping just a tad bit. So here's where I have that stacked up piece, or what I call a little bumper that I've created. I'm putting it along that right edge, and then I'm bringing in my paper bag pieces here again, and I'm going to stamp in the next color, which is kind of an orangey yellow. Now creating a bumper like this is a great way to ensure that you have the same spacing every time, and if you need it to be a little bit deeper to kind of push your cardstock up against, you could try 3 or 4 layers of cardstock. It shouldn't interfere with your stamping at all. And you can see that when I butt that paper bag piece up against the bumper that I've created and I position it where it's lined up along the bottom of my MISTI, I'm getting perfect alignment and positioning on this next color. So I'm repeating this process on 3 pieces of these bags. I decided not to stamp on the back part of the bag. I guess I could have, but I just didn't. I don't know. I think it's adorable as it is, and when they're sitting on the table, they're going to look fantastic. But if you wanted to flip over and stamp on the back of these bag pieces, you could do that as well. I'm just doing 3 of the pieces here. So for my next color, I needed this to be about 6/16 away from the edge, but that also converts to, yes, 3/8. I know, fractions. You never thought you would use them. So what I've done is I've created another bumper that measures 3/8. I cut 2 strips, 3/8 inches wide, adhered them together, and put them along that right-hand edge of my MISTI to keep my paper bag pieces exactly where I want them. And now I'm inking up the stamp once again in this light blue, kind of aqua-ish colored ink. And I'm just stamping that on there. And then once again, I get perfect alignment on this stripe. When you're stamping something like a stripe that goes straight up and down, you want to make sure that you're stamping straight and not crooked so that you get a really clean look in the end. So once I have these all stamped, I'm going to take them and I am going to die cut some sentiments. And I'm using the hashtag captions sentiment die set here. They're these little block letter sentiments and they're adorable. And there is smile, hello, and sweet. So I'm going to use each one of those one time, and I'm keeping the little letters that are falling out of them because they have those colored stripes on them, and I think they would be really fun for another project. And you can see I just held those in place with a little bit of purple tape as I ran them through my die cut machine to make sure that my sentiment dies stayed exactly where I want them. And that gave me kind of a window knockout effect on these paper bags. So now it's time to assemble these bags, and I am going to start by folding on all the score lines. Now I love treat bags like this that create the score lines for you because it makes assembly really easy. And I'm just reinforcing all of those fold lines with my Teflon bone folder to make sure that I get nice crisp edges on this box. That's going to help you get a really nice finished professional look when you assemble these together if you use a bone folder to kind of crease those fold lines. So now I have my front and my back all folded, creased, reinforced, and now I am going to add my adhesive to these tabs that are along this is actually going to create the side of the box. So these are the outer tabs here. And for that, I'm just using 1/4 inch score tape or Be Creative tape. And I could have probably gotten away with a 1/2 inch tape here, but it all's well that ends well, right? So I'm not really worried about it. Now I did find that when I folded this tab up and I went to adhere it, you could see that in the hello window that I created. So I'm just going to cut a little notch out of this side tab. I'm not cutting away any of the adhesive that I placed. I'm just cutting a little bit of that excess so that when I fold it up, you're going to not see that tab through my hello window. So I'm going to start by removing the adhesive on the tab that is closest to the side or the height of this box. And I am going to use my table to kind of make sure that these edges are all lined up. And that helps me get a really clean edge there so that everything is lined up perfectly. And I'm going to show you that here in just a moment once again. So I'm going to remove the backer on just this adhesive. It's the one that's closest to the side or the front of the box here. And I'm going to lay that onto my desk so that the edge of the height of that box and that tab are going to line up perfectly. And now I have my 2 pieces of my box and they're going to slide together just like this. Now you can absolutely put this together in a different way. This is just how I prefer to do it. So now to adhere the bottoms, I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of tape runner adhesive on the top of one of those bottom tabs, and I'm going to place the other one lined up with that and press it down. And then I can remove the backer from the adhesive along the other sides of the tabs. And once again, I'm just going to position this onto my desk so that everything is lined up really well and push those tabs into place. Now, if you wanted to, you can adhere the bottom tab of these boxes together first and create one large piece that then you fold up the sides on. But this is the method that I prefer because I get really clean edges on these boxes. I mean, everything's lined up really, really well when I use my table to kind of make sure that everything's kind of parallel. So I've gone ahead and assembled my 3 little treat bags here, and I wanted to show you a few things that fit inside. This gift card fits perfectly inside, so it's a great way to dress up a gift card when you give it. A full-size bottle of nail polish fits really well in there, so you could do that along with like a little certificate for like a pedicure or manicure or something. And this essential oil fits beautifully in there as well, so you could give a couple little essential oil bottles in one of these treat bags. Today I decided to go ahead and put some gold Hershey Kisses. They're actually the Hershey Kisses with almonds. And I'm just going to put those in a little cellophane treat bag inside of these bags. So it's a bag in a bag. Now, to add a little sparkle and shine to this, I did back those windows with a little bit of glitter cardstock. And now I am taking the banner shape. This is from the Vertical Hearts in a Row die set. And I'm stamping a little sentiment on here. And this is from the Heart stamp set. It has a great sentiments in it. I've just stamped a little thing that says hugs and kisses. And I'm kind of just poking a hole along the top so that I can tie these onto this bag of Hershey Kisses that I've put inside of it. And I layered that up with a gold glitter cardstock banner that's cut from the same Vertical Hearts in a Row die so that there's kind of this layered flag look. And you can see once I got all the twine and the little tags tied on these turned out super adorable. And I love that vintage kind of 70s rainbow vibe that these have. It really does remind me of that kind of vintage 70s, 80s rainbow, like Polaroid logo colorway. So I thought it was a really fun, easy, and simple way to dress up these little treat bags. And I hope you enjoyed it too. As always, I will have links to the featured products in the description at YouTube, so be sure to check that out if you're looking for anything. I thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe here to the My Favorite Things YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the fabulous paper crafting and card making video tutorials here. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.